I think that facility plays exactly this role in the company. I don't know about your companies, but in the companies that I work in, there seems to be a candle in a temple in a corner for the facility saint. We pray to them each day so that people don't forget anything. It's impressive. The whole company is counting on us to anticipate things that could happen. Once they're distracted doing their normal work, we're always thinking about anything that could go wrong. Well, maybe this water pump might fail. I have another one, a replacement one. But if the replacement one also fails, I have to call the water truck so that there's water in the deposit. We'll always have to be using a very strategic thought. I think I learned a lot of that because I'm a civil engineer. And the last year at the faculty, I worked at the Sao Paulo University, which is the largest one in Brazil. It has a very large campus, and I worked exactly in that campus in maintenance and management. There was management of different locations in that campus, and I learned a lot with that. My first job at the university was at a hotel group. We have a colleague here who works in hotels. I worked at hotels. I don't know if someone else has worked in that sector. And you can't really know what we work at behind the scenes in a hotel, so that people can come into reception, be attended. They can use the elevator or the rooms, our room service, and that we can exit the hotel with a good memory of the experience that we've lived in that hotel, because that's what hotels really sell, a good experience. And the strategic thought of a hotel, it's very important because if the event isn't up to standards, there's no positive experience for the user. And when I started working after the hotels, I went to industrial companies, first petrochemical industries and now in Firmenich. I learned a lot of this to anticipate events. So I bought this pen drive with me anticipating myself, which is my way of doing this. What could happen? Something bad could happen. I'm always thinking as a facility manager about the things. But in the companies, we suffer a lot with our relationship with other divisions. In 2008, the company where I work, Firmenich, which is a Swiss company about high-grade chemistry, we produce aromas that go into the food that we consume. For example, mango, maracuya, strawberry, sweet aromas, salty flavors, refrigerants, and we also produce perfumes. High quality perfumes that we're using, shampoo, deodorant. Or this company in 2008, in 2007, they didn't know what facility management was. They didn't have the slightest idea of what that was. And I received a visit in Brazil with my boss then, who, because he was the president in Latin America for finances, he wanted to see our SIFO. And my boss asked me to do a presentation and talk about the MBA side, the facility management, your stuff. I gave a presentation about all these things that you're talking about. Um, and that was the way I did it. I gave a presentation. Facility management exists. They had never heard about it, but it exists. And there's this, this, and this. And I finished it in 15 minutes. There were no questions. I thought they hadn't understood anything. But in reality, about 8 months later, a facility professional in Geneva was contracted to be our first facility global vice president. And he organized the regions. He never said if he was motivated by my presentation, But the reality is that after that, Firmenich organized globally in the facilities aspect, and it's acting regionally since 2008. But inside the company, even now, people suffer to understand what you do and what the reach of facility is, and what can you and you can't ask of facilities. That's why I'm doing this presentation. This is a case study, really what we do inside the company, which is an industry with a lab, with offices, and they have a very distinct functioning. Where facilities participates in the day by day of work. A very quick example that you might understand. We have an internal division that's about aromas, flavors. There's salty, like fish, chicken, or meat. And we also have sweet flavors like orange, strawberry, maracuya. In an office where we have sales department or marketing department or creation application laboratory. Once they're creating, these aromas are very strong, and that cannot contaminate the office. And of course, not the lab that next doors where they're doing maybe orange flavor. So there needs to be a ventilation system and air conditioning system that has to be very well projected, very well maintained, and regulated and monitored so that it doesn't interfere directly in the business. So facilities participates very closely in the business with cleaning, with maintenance. And so the company suffers a little bit. And that's why this need came up of leaving our functions cleared, clarifying our function. And we created a service catalog to be this tool that could be something positive in the user's experience. I've talked quite a lot, and this morning we also talked a lot that we still lack a concrete definition of facilities. And to do that, we have to also do this at the companies. We have to create our own definition. This is a big definition. Usually it should be 3 lines, but even the definition is pretty big. We find some of the key concepts, which is life cycle. So in facilities, we can never take a decision without considering the life cycle of an item because uh, here in facilities, you have to participate in the whole life cycle in that environment that you're in. From this conception of facilities, it's invited to participate with the projectors. Who projected this auditorium? Should always have a facilities manager next to him to foresee the whole operation of that environment. It's not only aesthetics; it's functionality. If it's not maintained, how can you get to the lamp? How do I repair that system if I have to realize some maintenance? It always has to be thought about in project phase, the life cycle. All of the phases of the project, you have to think about environment for which use it was projected and the uses for it will be renovated. There are no longer projects done in areas that were sometimes thought that they would last forever, and now they need renovation. We have to have this concept of recycling and creating more flexible environments. We have to do this in a cost-efficient way. We have to spend a concrete amount of money in a concrete place. It's not useful if I know that this environment will only last 10 years because later it will be a university. I, it doesn't make sense to use some carpets that might last for 50 years. No, it's not worth it. I only use a carpet that will last 10 years and will pay less for that. We have to follow some rules, legislation of each country, and you have to guarantee the satisfaction. I think that that word is pretty important because the user who's using the space, be it public or private, uh, if it's a workspace, he has to find satisfaction. We talk a lot today that People have to find pleasure in going to work at their company, and they have to be attracted to their work. Human resources wants to get talents that are pleased with their workplace. I can't imagine people that leave their homes, get to their workplaces, and have to face a situation with maybe a bathroom that doesn't work. And he's going to spend an hour in that day saying that the bathroom doesn't work. The company would be losing productivity from that employee who's complaining about air conditioning, who's complaining about the elevator, bathrooms, or the food at the restaurant. So facilities contributes to the retention of talent at the company. We have to always keep that in mind. Going back to the problem that we had here at Firmenich, it was thought that these services had to be provided at a lower cost and very quickly and with high quality. We needed to define the role of the facilities department so that it would be clear for the whole corporation. We tried to also communicate better. That was the solution that we decided on. And we had some meetings with diverse departments at the company to understand how each department worked. First of all, how they worked, how they would expand with facilities, what was the way they were looking for us during these meetings. And we were building up that we didn't understand, and that was the service that should be provided. Which areas of facilities should be touched and which areas shouldn't, because we were maybe the work of other areas. We're 6 months doing this, and we acquired a lot of knowledge doing all this. This was at the beginnings of 2010. And the company staff received this work. We presented all this work, and they validated there. And that's where we decided to use this catalog. So, what did we learn during this process? That this service catalog could be a very strong communication tool, and it would clarify a lot which sectors and which areas of the company, which facilities were needed, and how they were needed to align the expectations of people. If you take the phone and you call to maintenance for a lamp over your head that's not working, what's the expectation? That the lamp might be immediately repaired, or that the lamp might maybe changed the following day. But on the other hand, facilities has to be prepared to do this, so that it's done in 15 minutes, or if it's done in 24 hours. The costs are completely different. To have a professional who is counting on a lamp and waiting for the lamp, or having a professional who can make the rounds so that in 24 hours he can go through all the different spaces and fix the lamp independently of someone having called or not. These are completely different strategies, and it was necessary to align these expectations with the users. The service catalog was used for this through questionnaires to also measure our quality, or the quality of the company who wanted to pay, and the quality that we wanted to also be able to provide. Users started using this service in a more rational way. They started to understand what happened when they could communicate a problem to facility. They understood the flux that was behind a call of an email or a new service order opening. With these aligned expectations, user satisfaction increased 40%. So previous investigations before and after showed us this increase in 40% in satisfaction. Before, a user would make a call, and he had an personal expectation of how she should be attended. If it was under his expectations, he would have a low satisfaction. After introducing this catalog, he knew exactly what to expect from the department, because if you called, and he would know that he would be attended, for example, in 24 hours, and suddenly in 30 minutes that was corrected. Oh, I love facilities. It surprised me. They're working with a lot of quality, and user satisfaction changed completely with this alignment of expectations. Firmenich then got all these processes to become more transparent for everyone, and that was a very big benefit. You don't want me to read through all that, but that was the final result of our work. And in Firmenich, there's also an area that acts in real estate, where the area that builds, that realizes real estate transactions. We sell, we buy, or rent administration management. Also, corporate real estate concepts are all in the service catalog. They're also with the common services, those that are common maintenance, maybe pest control, cleaning, restaurant, or the fires fighting system. This service catalog, it already is. We need to do some reforms, but nowadays it's our Hail Mary that which support us. When an area has to ask for something or innovate in some aspect, we have this catalog that we can rely on. And then to end my presentation, I will just give you this message. If nowadays, in the day by day, when you're doing your jobs as facility managers, if there's some conflict in communication with the internal departments, if there's maybe a fight or a conflict between the satisfaction levels that are demanded by the user and what you're doing day by day, just meet with them. Call them for a meeting, explain how your department works, listen to how their department works, so that you can also understand how the impact of this department works. If a service that you're providing doesn't have a high enough quality, try to understand the other so that you can lay out your strategy of how to provide the service. Quickly, this alignment happens, and you'll have excellent results with your teams. There will be high satisfaction for facility workers and satisfaction from the employees in the company. There's no doubt about this. And continue this way, passionate about facility, because it's a very passionate profession. Thank you very much.